Charlie, what happened?
Charlie, what happened is that Ghana leaders, they are a disgrace to the country.
Why?
They are a disgrace to us.
What happened?
How can you stop us from having such a program like this? How can
you know what the program is about?
Yes, it's about igniting Africa. It's about leadership, development, and empowerment. You are empowering leadership in Africa. Okay. You understand? So if you look at this program, this December, last year December, Davido, Shatawale, Zagodia, all of them, those policemen, they allow them. Okay. The one way go empower Africa, they say they don't go do.
Ghana should bow down. We as Ghanaians should bow down our heads in shame. All those calling for this, because the Nkrumah that we hail is about Africans.
Right.
We might not be at the convention, but that will not stop the conversation.
It is in this Accra, Ghana, that the Osage for Kwame Nkrumah spoke to the world that the independence of Ghana meant nothing if the continent of Africa was not free.
We may not be at the convention center, but we intend to continue to preach the gospel of truth until we reach the promised land.
All right, thank you all for joining me today. So apparently, the president of Ghana, Nana Akufo-Addo, and the Ghanaian government are currently taking a lot of heat for the cancellation of a highly anticipated Pan-African event, which was slated to take place on January 7th. And this has caused a lot of outrage on the streets of Ghana. People were upset about this because this was a convention which many were looking forward to. I was looking forward to it. When I heard about the convention last year, I was truly looking forward to this convention. And again, we have Ghana trending for the wrong reason. So let me go ahead and give you guys an update on this, because we've got a lot of conversation that we're going to have around this. Because there's something to be said about what happened in Ghana and why the president of Ghana canceled this event. And I'm going to give you my opinion about it. But before we do that, let's go ahead and just give you what's going on. So this event was, as I mentioned, was a highly anticipated event in which really strong heavy hitters were going to attend the event. This was an event that was announced last year, in which quite a few heavy hitters were going to be there. Heavy hitters like Patrick Lumumba of Kenya, Dr. Arikana Chihomambri Kwa of Zimbabwe, Peter Obi of Nigeria, as well as Julius Malema of South Africa. These were heavy hitters that were slated to come into Ghana and really inspire the youth in Ghana. And Ghana was one of many stops that they were planning to have this convention at. And so many were looking forward to this. And I was also, as I mentioned, looking forward to it, because this was something that many people thought was a thing within a positive thing in the right direction. And so the fact that it was canceled hours before the event, this literally was canceled hours before the event, was very shocking to many. So here's an official letter that the Office of the President of Ghana released, and basically says, we write to revoke immediately the permission granted per our letter dated 11th of November 2023, which approved your request to use the Black Star Square for the above event. This decision has been necessitated by the unforeseen state event scheduled to take place at the venue. Under the circumstances, the amount of 10,000 Ghana cedis paid by your office for the use of the venue will be refunded. We regret any inconvenience this may have caused. And so that's what the Office of the President of Ghana sent to them on the actual date. As I mentioned, this was hours before the event was going to be happening. And so here's the official release letter that the New African Foundation sent out to apologize to everyone for the abrupt cancellation of this event. And it says, basically, we regret to inform you that the government has canceled the above Pan-African event, which was to take place today at the Independence Square in Accra, Ghana. All the special guests have arrived and thousands of people have come from all over Ghana as well as around the globe for this historic event. We have just been informed of the cancellation of this event a couple of hours before its commencement. This event was approved by the government in November of 2023. This came as a shock to us and a devastation to our dignitaries and special guests who flew in from around the world. We at the New African Foundation apologize for any inconveniences this may have caused to our audiences and the public alike. Please be aware that this situation is beyond our control. More to come. And guys, this is very, very embarrassing and very, very shocking, to say the least. And the reason why this is very, very embarrassing is because there is no official reason other than just we're canceling your event that was given by the Ghanaian government. We're just canceling it because supposedly it conflicts with something else that was supposed to be happening there. That's BS. That's BS because this was approved last year. And so this is upsetting because Ghana and many people were anticipating this event. And the 4 speakers who are putting this event were heavy hitters, people that were highly respected in the African community. I mean, we're talking about Patrick Lumumba. Patrick Lumumba has been a voice for change in Africa, has been a voice for revolution in Africa. He's such a respected person in Africa. He commands respect when he speaks. He's very knowledgeable when it comes to the history of Africa. He is such a respectable person. I respect him a lot, Patrick Lumumba. And then you have Julius Malema, who has also been an advocate for change in Africa. Strong vocal advocate for change. And then the other new ones, Peter Obi, who's also highly respected, and Dr. Arikana. These were heavy hitters who many were were anticipating what they were going to say. And this is highly disappointing. Highly disappointing. And this is not a good way for Ghana to start the year. This is really starting bad for Ghana already. Because why would you cancel an event? What particular reason would you have to cancel such an event? That was nothing but something that was going to inspire people. You know, you get what I'm saying? This wasn't going to harm anyone. If anything, this was going to empower the youth in Ghana and around the world to believe in themselves. And from my understanding, what they were going to discuss at the event was how to use the current political situation or the current climate that we find ourselves to elevate Africa, using social media, using the current alternative media that we currently are all empowered to have now, you know, platforms like this and many others, become a voice of change. What's wrong with that? Amongst many other things that we're going to talk about. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with voices, strong leaders in Africa, inspiring their own people to be great without having Ghanaians present trample on that whole thing? What's wrong with that? And this is very disappointing because I guarantee you, Kwame Nkrumah, the first president of Ghana, who was Pan-African and was a champion of uniting Africa and black people all over the world, he will be rolling in his grave today. Kwame Nkrumah's famous saying was, Ghana isn't free unless the entire African continent is free. This is right after they got their independence. And so Ghana has been seen to be the home of Pan-African ideology and thinking. Ghana has been. At least that's what most people believe Ghana to be. And to have this abruptly canceled, to have this event just canceled hours before the event is very disappointing, especially when you had very respectable speakers like the four that were going to be guest speakers at this event. When you have those types of voices who are highly respected, that's very disappointing. I can tell you why this was canceled. Let me give you my opinion why I think this was canceled. Let me give you my own opinion why I think this was canceled. There are two reasons why I believe this was canceled. Even though these are not official reasons, these are just my opinions. But the reason why I believe this was canceled, one was because this was not going to benefit the Ghanaian president economically. That's one. If there's anything I've learned about Nana Akufo-Addo is that he only does things that benefit him economically. That's one. Secondly, this was perhaps going to threaten his presidency because he hasn't been popular for a long time. The economy of Ghana is really in shambles. And he's really fallen off in the polls. Many are outraged at his presidency. He's led Ghana astray. The economy is in shambles. They filed for bankruptcy last year. 40% inflation rate. He has truly been a disappointment, especially with what he campaigned. He campaigned for change. He campaigned that Ghana was going to be elevated. Ghana was going to be a strong economy. These were his campaign when he was running. And when he came in, it has been nothing but the opposite. He has led that country astray. He might go down as one of the worst presidents Ghana has ever had. So I believe these two reasons, in my opinion, were the reasons for his canceling the event. Because he might have seen this for individuals. Because he knows they're very respected. He knows these guys, when they speak, people listen to them. So maybe perhaps in his mind, he's thinking, he's thinking that, okay, this might cause a uproar of youth in his country to rise up. No one was going to be instigating anyone to do that. I mean, Patrick Lumumba is a very peaceful person. He doesn't call for violence. I mean, he doesn't promote such things. I followed him. I know him. He's very respectable. He doesn't call for none of that stuff. The other gentleman, Peter Obi, same thing. These are people that don't advocate for violence. So I don't know where that notion or that fear might have been, but I guarantee you this is perhaps one of those things, one of those reasons why he may have canceled it, because this would have inspired a lot of people in Ghana, and maybe the president somehow is afraid that this might cause an uproar in his country. That's the only logical reason, and the fact that this doesn't benefit him economically. You get what I mean? It's highly disappointing that when Africa is looking for a change, when Africa is rising, Africa is on the map right now. You can kind of feel the awakening within the African people. People are waking up. There's this stirring up inside that people are so yearning for liberation. See, the revolution may not be televised, but the revolution will happen. And there's nothing anyone can do to stop it. No leader, no corrupt leader in Africa can stop the awakening in the African people. No leader, no corrupt leader can stop it. Because right now you can kind of sense with the emergence of social media and Africans are taking back their own narrative. They're telling their own story. You see, this story right now is what everyone is talking about. This people are outraged. There was a time when the information like this would have been buried. People would not know the reason. No one would be able to control what was going on. Well, people are speaking out, outraged. You go on TikTok, you go on YouTube. This story is all over the place. And it's causing everyone to just really express their frustration and their outrage and their disappointment at Ghana and its government. Even the Ghanaian people were upset because they were looking forward to this. And their government is putting a blockade in their liberation. This is highly disappointing. It truly is. You know, it truly is. And whether African leaders who have been this deadweight on the continent, whether they like it or not, doesn't matter what country that African leader is from, whether they like it or not, African people will be free. You know, the era of African leaders as puppets to Western regime or Western countries, or African leaders being corrupt and running rampant, running with that whole corruption with impunity. That era is coming to an end. Because people are empowered now to expose these things. It's not something that just hides under the shadows anymore. It's not something that you can just cover up. You're limited in your ability to be corrupt. Nonetheless, that stuff is still around, but it is weakening. You know, the organizers of this event are currently looking for other places to have this event. This event will hold. It will hold. It's just sad and disappointing that it couldn't happen in Ghana, which was the location that they were in, which was one of their first of many stops. They were going to have this event. But it will hold. You will not stop the revolution. The revolution has begun already. The revolution has begun. African sons and daughters are crying out for freedom, for their liberation. They're crying out to be heard and to finally break free of the stigma, the stereotype, the poverty, the failures, all of that plagues Africa. We're tired of it. And I'm glad that everyone is outraged, and I'm glad that this is happening. And so anyway, I wanted to let me know what your thoughts are on this, because it's truly disappointing. Truly, truly disappointing. Anyway, thank you all for watching. Please leave me a comment, like the video, share this video, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye.
Det finns ingen annan där som kan stå här by my side, oh why. Sättet du rör på det får mig att dö för dig, baby. För de här yardis, de vill ju bara dra ner oss. Men du är fett och vanlig. På det jag lägger all min tid, jag vill ha det. Du får mig känna safety. Jag kan nog leda dig.